Welcome back. We had a lot of difficulty here trying to get Mungal on the video. I don't know what the problem is, but we'll do a phone interview with him. Do we have him on the line now? Mungal, good morning.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, we have you on the line now. We're hearing you.
Yeah, okay. But I find it strange that because you had an unmute button on your thing, which I unmuted, but I don't understand why it's not coming through. Anyway, let's go.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit. I'm sorry we had so much difficulty this morning. That would cut the interview very short.
Oh, I'm very sorry for that.
And I'm very disappointed about that. You are on screen now, though?
Yes, sure.
All right. Okay, very good. Thank you. So we'll start immediately. Besides this problem, Mungal, I know you have other problems on your hands right now because you are involved not just in your own music, but with Pantar, that's your band, you work with other people. And you had a little tragedy in your musical family, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't consider it a little tragedy. It's a big tragedy in that one of my key musicians and one of the musicians who was very much in empathy with me from the very beginning of the formation of the band in 1994 has passed on. I passed on under very tragic circumstances, in which, well, there's a lot of detail which I wouldn't want to go into now.
Yeah, sure.
But the thing is that things are not too nice as it is at present.
What is
but
his
we are
name?
managing.
What is his name?
His name is Dawood Bhoe, and he's perhaps the most popular person in the band.
Yes, of course. And what did he play?
He played the saxophone, he played the flute, he played the wind controller, which is an electronic saxophone that he can access all sorts of tunes from. It was really an amazing musician, really. He played the guitar, he sang. Yeah.
Yes. Well, let me extend my condolences on this loss. I know it's a personal loss for you, and it's a tremendous loss for the band because it's not easy to replace somebody like that.
Well, the question here, Bhoe, is not so much as replacement, but the fact that he was such a great musician, and I think he's a loss not only to Pantar, but he's a loss to Trinidad and Tobago as a whole, and perhaps the world, because he's an internationally known musician also.
Yes, no, it's a tremendous loss. It's a human loss of the highest order. And we extend our condolences to all with whom he is connected. But, you know, Mungal, we wanted to reflect a little bit on independence and to talk about your music and its relationship to the evolution of our society. Can you give us your initial reflections when you think about independence and your own growth and development in this society?
Well, independence for me was really a start. I was just in my teens in those days, and I was over 16 years old, and to me, independence meant a lot. It meant plenty. But the impact of independence really hit me when I started the band. The band was such an integral part of that independence movement and the actual movement of an independent Trinidad and Tobago. An independent Trinidad and Tobago meant that we needed social cohesion, and that social cohesion is what I think the band was able to foster. Because not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but throughout the world, I mean, we have done over 100 performances. I think it's closer to 200 performances worldwide. And that, I think, has impacted more and has shown the world what Trinidad and Tobago is. We were like a micro Trinidad and Tobago wherever we go. The composition of the band was alone reflected the population of Trinidad and Tobago, because we had people of various ethnic races, ethnic groups into the band. We had from half Chinese, Douglas, Rasta, white, half white, Indian. I mean, the whole gamut of Trinidad and Tobago was represented. So can you imagine that this band on a stage, and then by the music starts, tabla, sitar, keyboard, all the conventional jazz orchestra was there. You can imagine the impact of that. We have never performed anywhere without a standing ovation. So I think that in itself alone was a plug for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, this young, small country, hosting a music that was so big, even as big as the world is.
Yes, no, that's a wonderful story. But you said you never performed anywhere outside of Trinidad and Tobago without getting a standing ovation. But that is an amazing statistic. And you've performed you've performed over 100 times in different places, no?
Oh yeah. Europe was our stomping ground. I mean, we played in the U.S. in some of the best places. We played in Canada, but the place that we kept on going over and over, and that was calling us over and over, and that was demanding that we come, was Europe. And one of the greatest music festivals in Europe is called the Montreux Jazz Festival.
Yes, I know it, yeah.
In Cannes, in Switzerland. That's where all the films and so are adapted. Now, that was the one where and this is significant, Doctor. When they asked, I was sitting on stage and the girl came on and she said, Mungal, give me a few lines to introduce you. So I said, okay. On the spot it came out, Trinidad is the rock on which I stand. Europe is my doorway to the world. India is my memory. The music that I play is a gift from God, and so it belongs to all. Now, that really analyzed properly will give you a very, you can write a treatise on that, particularly part about India in my memory. Because really, whatever came out of me was because in my subconscious, I was who I am. But apart from that, I was still standing on the rock, which was Trinidad and Tobago. And I think that lends a lot to racial integrity and to racial cohesion in Trinidad and Tobago, because each of us is a microcosm of being a migrant person.
Yes. Well, we're going to talk to Jerry afterwards, who has done a lot of work on Trinidad and Tobago and its history. And he has done a piece of work which basically establishes the bedrock of Trinidad and Tobago as an immigrant society. But you're saying a very important thing here, which I want to explore. You are saying the essence of Trinidad and Tobago being an independent country is in fact the quest and the road to discovery of social cohesion. I think that's the first thing that you are saying. And the second thing that you are saying is that in the band that you created with all of these beautiful people, and I've seen your band perform on a couple of occasions, and I've seen you on video, that this band represents the social cohesion that Trinidad and Tobago must come to represent, and represents a music that was created here that can only be created here, that is very special. Could you talk about that a little bit? Because I think those things are very important things.
Well, first of all, I must thank you for having hosted us I remember when you were principal of the university, you hosted us there, and then as minister, you hosted us, which means I think you believed in the philosophy of that together we aspire, together we achieve.
Of course I do.
And that motto is what we work by, and the band has shown that. You know, it's very strange when a band of artists get together and when a band of musicians get together. There's always infighting and jealousy and all that. But in our band, there was never that, and I'm amazed. Then again, I took the role of father of my band, and I had people of even older than me in the band, but they all respected me for that. And one fellow told me yesterday when I was telling him that I'm going to talk on this, he said, Mungal, your strength is the ability to get people together with an ideal. And that ideal that we are all Trinidadians, and that we have to build this nation. And so, you know, this migrant population of ours needed cohesion. And I think Pantar is just a very minuscule expression of that cohesion. I think what we need to do is keep on going like that. There are other moves that are doing it, but nothing as cogent as Pantar, because, you know, there is a great singer-musician from London called Joan Armatrading. Many years ago, she came to Trinidad to do a documentary on Carnival. And when she ended up by my home, somebody advised her to come and meet me. And I played a video of her playing at the Montreux Jazz Festival. And she was in awe, and she said, Mungal, it is the first time in my musical life that I have seen a cohesion of fusion that is unbelievable. It is the best that I've seen in the world. But I mean, that left by itself, we were not even aware of what greatness the music had. But when you think about Joan Armatrading, she was the person who started soul music. She was the original soul singer. And she's not small, she's big. And she worked for the BBC at that time. So, coming back to your, the effort that I'm talking about is that once people forget their egos and forget that jealousy and fighting for a little space, I think we can achieve that. And the motto is together we aspire, together we achieve that.
Yes, of course. But let's talk about some of the things. We don't have much time now. I was going to play a little video of you, but I won't do that until after the news when I come back after you leave, because I have this precious time to talk to you and I don't want to interfere with it.
Agreed, yes.
So I want to ask you this. Yeah, I mean, you brought the sitar. I mean, that is the instrument that you learned. Sitar is an instrument that comes out of the long history and culture of India. And there is a certain tradition to it. And there are certain forms associated with it. But in the music that you play now with Pantar, you have jumped over hurdles and hurdles and hurdles, moving from what you originally learned to what you have been able to create together with others. Talk to me about that journey a little bit.
I will tell you something. Sitar has a very strict discipline.
Yes.
And it is not an instrument that can be easily mobilized to play fusion music. The great Pandit Ravi Shankar tried it and gave up in frustration. And so too did many other sitar players. Because the sitar does not have the notes like a piano. It's just, you have 1.5, 2 octaves available to you, whereas on your piano you have 6 or 7 octaves available to you. Mm-hmm. Plus you can move all 5 fingers on your piano, and the sitar you only allow 2 fingers. Well, it lends itself to that. But the beauty of this sitar, it can reach any instrument you can think about because of the effect of slurring. It's a technical term. That is the movement of one note to the other in a smooth kind of traditional transitional way. Now, to do that, I had to alter my sitar a bit. I went to India, I got a special sitar made in which the missing notes, so-called missing notes, were put in so that I could jam with the jazz musicians or any other musician for that matter with the sitar. Now, socially, it was a traumatic experience because people saw me as betraying an ethnic cause. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, I didn't see it as that. I saw it as just as music. I never thought about it in any other way. I just saw it as me expressing my creativity, and I was looking for musicians who had the capacity to understand what I was doing. You know, in 1978, when I won Masana Bahar, a great teacher from Tewarie College called Scofield Pilgrim.
Yes, I know. I played with him when I was a young man at QRC.
Nice. So Scofield Pilgrim, Clive Alexander, a jazz pianist.
Yes.
Book Sharp, our doyen of steel band. Toby Tobias, who played with Harry Belafonte and all these people. They reached my home on the night of Masana when I won the car in 1978. And Scofield told me that, Mungal, you are the only Indian musician who I have seen in Trinidad, there may have been others, who can improvise and can fit into a jazz group. Would you like to join us? So in my innocence, I told him, I'm sorry, that is going to be a very difficult thing for me because I don't understand one word of jazz. I don't understand one thing about English music or Western music. He said, just come. So I went to Saturday at Bishop Anthony High School, and Clive Alexander was very, very accommodating. He started to play a scale that he thought was an Indian scale, and he asked me to improvise. And of course, it was a scale called Rag Bhairav, and I just went to tongue on that and went crazy over it, and everybody they just couldn't catch it. So, and in those days I was very vigorous and very fast, and in India I was actually one of the top in speed, really. In an international competition I came first. That is to give you an idea of the level of expertise that I achieved. And that was from then on, I got the inspiration to continue. So that experiment with Scofield Pilgrim led us to the Jamaican School of Music, where all these musicologists and everybody came together and recorded us for about 8 hours. Then we went to England, where we performed in about 20 venues, and people just loved it, a trio. Me, Bugsy, James Dawood, and Quartet, and Prashant.
Yes.
And Prashant was amazing on the tabla himself. And we created such a stir in England that, they kept us going back to England from time to time. And that was the opening of the doors in Europe for us.
Yes. Well, we're going to have to close here because we've come to news time. But listen, Mungal, you have to come back and talk to me even after independence about this music because it's so amazing. You might not know this, but when I was a boy at QRC, I played with Scofield Pilgrim in the jazz band. My cousin was Valmiki Maharaj, who was one of the best tenor pianists in this country at that time. But he migrated and he got involved in other things. And also, with some friends and so on, I had my own band. I had always had an interest in music. But what you have done is absolutely fantabulous and amazing. And you play world-class music of the highest order, the greatest kind of integration that I have ever seen in music, and perhaps not as appreciated in Trinidad and Tobago as it is elsewhere in the world. And I want to thank you for that. And I want you to say yes to me that you will come and have another discussion with me on this program, okay?
Well, Professor, I don't have to tell you yes. You know that's a certainty. All you have to do is call me, and I'm there for you.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Mungal Patasar.
It's my pleasure, and I'm sorry for all the technical hiccups.
No worry. You made up for it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All the best. So we go on now to the news with Andrew Chan, and I'm sorry for all the hiccups and technical difficulties. Please accept my apologies. Thank you for listening and watching. This is MCTV, and I am Bhoe, Tewarie. Andrew Chan and the news.